Welcome back to the Kwasi channel. My name is Kwasi. Welcome back to a brand new video. Arsenal believe that Real Madrid are trying to convince William Saliba to reject a new deal at the club and sign for them on a free in 2027. Fabrizio says that the Madrid are very serious on William Saliba, and if a deal can be done this summer, it can happen. However, Arsenal under Andre Bata, they're pushing for William Saliba to sign a new deal. Mikel Arteta is 100% certain that Saliba wants to stay, but Madrid are pushing as well. We're going to be talking about that story, and TalkSport are saying that Arsenal are back in the race for Mohammad Kudus. He's got 2 release clauses, one for Saudi Arabian clubs and one for clubs in Europe. Arsenal are interested in Mohammad Kudus. Once again, it's a deal that could be a little bit expensive, but it's a deal that could bring a player, a profile that Arsenal don't have at the club right about now. Hit that button, subscribe to the channel as well. Let's get into these stories. Now, let's start off with L'Equipe and GetFrenchNews.com, who have reported that Real Madrid are trying to convince William Saliba to reject a new deal at Arsenal and sign for them on a free in 2027. Now, this is the strategy that Madrid are using these days. They will wait for a player, they'll talk to him, they will force him to reject a new deal, and then they'll sign that player on a free. It happened with Trent Alexander-Arnold, and maybe they want to use the same tactics with William Saliba as well. But L'Equipe are also saying that Arsenal are aware of these developments. Arsenal are aware of these tactics, and Andre Bata has already started negotiations with William Saliba's camp in order to make sure that the player signs a new deal and stays at Arsenal. This is not going to be an easy one. This is going to be a difficult one, because Real Madrid is like a dream of every player, especially players that start from the lower roots of football. It's a dream for players coming from France, for players coming from lower league Spain, for all those players that are aspiring to become big stars. Real Madrid is definitely a big destination. And for William Saliba, we have been told that he wants guarantee that Arsenal are going to win silverware. Otherwise, he's going to consider a move to Real Madrid. Now, for me, the question I have here is, how do we guarantee William Saliba silverware? And that the answer is only 2 ways. One, Arsenal have got to go and act seriously in the upcoming summer. It's not about the links. It's not about Arsenal wanting players. It's about us signing serious players. If Saliba and Gabriel look at Arsenal, and Arsenal is bringing in Alexander Isak, or Arsenal is bringing in Victor Gyökeres to score goals, and maybe we are adding Martin Zubimendi, and maybe we are also adding a player like Mohammad Kudus that we'll talk about later. I think players will be convinced that this project is going somewhere. But like just Fabrica said, he reached at a point, players reached at a point during Arsene Wenger's Arsenal, and there was no progress. You looked at the team, it wasn't going backwards. We were qualifying for the Champions League every single year, but it wasn't going forward. We reached a point where we couldn't fight for the Premier League with Manchester United. We couldn't fight for the UCL. All we used to do is get to the round of 16, or maybe the quarterfinals if we tried so much, and we would get battered by Barcelona or get battered by Bayern Munich. So that puts us in a very difficult position now. Saliba wants guarantee of silverware. That's number 1. Number 2, Madrid is saying, we can give you silverware. We are a big club. If you join us right about now, we are going to make your life a little bit easier, and we're going to make your career so much decorated. But Andre Bata has already started talking to William Saliba, and of course, we are very confident given the words of Mikel Arteta. Mikel said he's certain. He's talked to William Saliba, and Saliba wants to stay. And the player himself said this season has not been the best. He wants to stay for at Arsenal and improve his standards and maybe reach the performances that Gabriel Magalhaes has had this campaign. And maybe we could believe these words, and maybe we can't, because that is football, and these are transfers. Transfers, one day a player says I'm staying, and the other day the player is kissing the badge of another club. So I don't know what's going to happen with William Saliba, certainly, but according to GetFrenchNews.com and L'Equipe right from France, Madrid want to sign him on a free. They want to make sure that he doesn't sign a new deal at Arsenal. And now, for me, listen, I think he will sign. I think he'll sign a new deal. I'm just scared. He's just 22, 23. I'm scared that in the next 4 years, when it gets to 27, something that happened to Chelsea might happen to us. The way Madrid scooped up Rudiger, they will wait and wait and wait. If you look at the players they've got from Bayern, Toni Kroos was in his prime. Tony Rudiger was in his prime. So they will wait for you until they can get your player in your prime. They tried to get Alphonso Davies, and that was very close as well. And they've taken Trent Alexander-Arnold, and it's also a player in his prime. So are they going to keep pestering and peckering us until we give them William Saliba? I don't know. Is the player going to stay strong enough until maybe Arsenal win something? I don't know. And of course, the big question with Arsenal is, if we don't win anything this season, does that change the mind of a player like William Saliba? Does that mean that Arsenal can't give him whatever kind of silverware he wants? And if we can't give in, do we give the player to Madrid? I don't know, but it still depends on William Saliba and his camp. First and foremost, Madrid are not willing to give us 100 million or 80 million. They want to take him on a free. So 2 years without him signing a new deal, I think Arsenal might have found somewhere else to sell him. But where? It's either Bayern or Paris Saint-Germain. I think Paris Saint-Germain, right? I think it's Paris Saint-Germain. If he doesn't sign a new deal, I'm sorry, we've got to sell him to Paris Saint-Germain, or we've got to sell him to a club like, I don't know, clubs don't have 100 million for a centre-back. Clubs no longer spend 100 million on a centre-back. Maybe you give him to Manchester City. Maybe you give him to Paris Saint-Germain. Those are the two clubs I can think about, or maybe a Bayern. The only three clubs I can think about that are willing to give you 100 million or 90 million in a William Saliba if he doesn't sign a new deal. But for me, it's a no-brainer. He might stay, and he must stay. But if he says that he's not going to stay, if he says he's not going to sign a new deal, we've got to sell him. TalkSport are saying that Arsenal are back in the race for your favorite, Mohammad Kudus, and he's got 2 release clauses this summer. He's got the release clause for Saudi Arabia, which is about 85 million pounds. That's like 100 million euros. And then he's got the release clause for European clubs that is unknown. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. I don't know how much it might cost, but looking at the value of Mohammad Kudus right now, I think it's about the right time that Arsenal go in for such a player. His profile is so important to our club. Like, if you think about, the diagnosis of our problems, right? We can't deal with low blocks. We can't deal with mid blocks. And what is the solution? The solution is Arsenal need players that can carry the ball and drive. Players that can, just shake bodies. Players that can, remove bodies out of the way. That is Mohammad Kudus. Now, I think Arsenal need a left winger. Arsenal need a backup right winger. And Arsenal need an attacking midfielder. And the advantage of signing a player like Mohammad Kudus is he allows you to just go and... he just allows you to sign one player that can, fit in all positions. Obviously, it's not a very good thing. Arsenal need options too. But for me, a Kudus allows you to keep Martinelli, and he allows you to keep Trossard. Not that I care that Martinelli should stay, or not that I care that Trossard should stay. If the club think they should go, in my opinion, they should go. They're already old, and they're dispensable, honestly. But I think a Mohammad Kudus for 60-65 million, and a deal can be done for 60-65 million, is a much better option than signing a player like Gittens and Bilal El Kudus. And the reason for that for me, Bilal El Kudus is a good number 10, and Gittens is a good left winger. But Kudus is a real talent, a very versatile player. This kind of players that literally play everywhere and anywhere. So you can play him on the left wing every single day. He starts at Arsenal, no question about that. He's better than Trossard, he's better than Martinelli in terms of goal scoring, in terms of pace, in terms of creating chances, and in terms of impacting games and effective games. He's a much better player. But what I like about him more is his ability to shift into different positions, shift into different profiles, because his profile allows him to do that. So I think Mikel Arteta wanting him, for me, is no coincidence. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well, and I'll speak to you right in the next one.